For me, obviously, people were dealing with everything when the world shut down.
Right.
You know what I mean? And for me, I was somebody who was providing. I still provide for a lot of people. Obviously, I'm in a blessed situation to do what I do. But when everything stops, everything gets stagnant. Those things start to pile up, and those thoughts aren't the brightest. You know what I mean? And the stresses of that, and they compound. And then you just talk to your homies about it, and then you realize it's not the end of the world. Like your support system, your support group, your relationships, all those things are worth more than what you can provide, financially.
You're in the right place. It's Unpacked That with Miabelle.
Unpacked That with Miabelle Bas is in the building. Let me tell you something. I've been a fan for a long time.
Appreciate you.
So I'm really happy that you're here.
Happy to be here.
Congratulations, of course, on everything that you've been doing, especially being consistent with, the genre of music that you create. Your fan base loves you for that. I love you for that. And you are appreciated in this space of music.
I just got my flowers, yeah.
Absolutely. I'm going to give them to you. I am going to give it to you, especially because of Queens. Now, I'm a Long Island girl, but I feel like I know you because some of my cousins, my friends, they all went to prep, and I'm just like,
oh, wow.
So I feel like we know each other, but we don't.
Yeah, I mean, Queens and Long Island is,
we cousins.
Yeah, we cousins.
I'm the bougie cousin.
Yeah.
Only come around for certain things.
It's all right. We come out there every now and then.
Right. What do you go to Long Island for?
I used to a lot more when I used to work at a country club out there.
Really?
In high school, yeah.
What part?
Brookville Country Club. It was off the Grand Central. What was that? Mineola?
Oh wow, yeah. What were you doing at the country club?
I was waiting tables at a country club.
Okay. They were tipping you good, huh?
Nah, it was actually like a no cash type of spot. But then they'd send me to get cigarettes, and they tipped me like $200 to go get cigarettes.
See, I like that.
I was in high school. That was like, real money.
Okay. I was working at Roosevelt Field when I was in high school.
My boy Reg was working at the Best Buy at Roosevelt Field.
Really?
Yep. He was going to prep. He'd get on a bus. What's the bus that leaves Hillside and takes you? It was
the N6. N6.
Yeah. He used to ride that every day. Yeah. That's a good trip to get out to Roosevelt Field.
For real. Yeah. N6, and then you had to get on the 43.
Yep.
That's a 2-bus ride.
Yeah. Shout out my boy Reg. He'd had that blue Best Buy shirt, little polo.
Damn.
On that bus every day.
Yeah, so very familiar.
Yeah,
I mean, sure. New York, as big as it is, it's very small.
Yeah.
In that same breath. But you've been doing the work, and, every time you're in New York, you're still outside. We were talking about that before the
always
cameras
outside.
came on. And this is why right. That's the problem. We're going to talk about the problem, because I want to fix the problem. I'm a Virgo. We talked about that already.
Yeah.
Why is it that when you're here in New York, you can't stay put? What's going on?
I'm blessed to have this incredible, group of friends and network, and everybody's so damn lit. Everybody's doing something ill every night. It feels like it's like I owe them to be there.
Right.
My man's is lit, and he DJing somewhere. It's his event. I had to show up.
And show out.
With
that classic.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But then the next day, it might be, it might be MoMA somewhere else, and that's my brother. So I definitely got to show out.
Yeah.
And, it's a catch-22. Like, I can't let nobody down. I feel like, I'm the life of the party.
Right. And they don't give it up like that in L.A., huh?
Nah.
They don't.
Nah, they don't. But you know what it is? I found balance in L.A. Like, I'm on the road. I tour so much. I go back to L.A., smoke hella weed, watch movies, play video games, go on a few hikes.
Right.
Drink a little green juice.
Okay.
Do the LA shit.
So you need that balance in your life.
I need the balance. That's, when I was coming home off tour and coming to New York, there was no balance. I was living harder at home than I was on tour. I was like, man, I need...
Too mixy.
It's too mixy.
Okay.
I gotta get out the mix.
Right. I'm glad that you found that balance, though. And I was telling you earlier that I feel like it's a male thing where it's just like, I don't know. They don't know when to stop. When it's in front of them, they can't say no. Is that you?
Yeah. Sometimes I think I'm overdue for like time to stop moment, I don't know. Maybe I gotta have a kid or something.
I mean, are you in a relationship?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe, I mean, that could be
enough. How to have a kid. What are they saying? Like fatherhood isn't for the perfect man, but it perfects the man or something. Maybe I just have to,
yeah,
wipe ass and clean shit, and
it'll keep you busy for sure.
Maddie, how's fatherhood treating you?
Yeah, that's for sure. But it slowed you down, right, Maddie? Come on. Yeah.
That is a lie, actually. This guy's got 3, so you know what? I need another strategy.
Yeah.
It's not fatherhood.
Oh my gosh. I mean, when you're putting records out like Passport Bros, I don't know when that's going to happen or if you even have the time because you're traveling.
Yeah, I think that's probably like why I haven't.
Yeah.
I'm selfish. I love the world.
I love that too. But you know what? Before we get into the music, I do want to give our guests some perspective too on your come up, only because it's so different now. Social media plays such a huge part in how artists, are put out there and how we find out about them. And when you were coming up, it was a little different. Yeah, social media was around. What, we had MySpace?
I never had a MySpace.
You never had a MySpace?
No.
Not even like in school?
I never had a MySpace.
Like,
and I know everyone did. I don't know how it missed me.
Did you have a screen name? Like AOL?
I had AOL. I was an away message champion.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What was your screen name back then?
I had two, but really there was this 50 song called Polo Rich Nigga. Mm-hmm. So I ran with that, but you had to kind of edit it, Mm-hmm. And then my initial one was Wounded Buffalo. That was just a joke.
Wow.
I just saw it was an old Jamiroquai record and somebody remixed it. It was like the DJ's name. I was like, what kind of crazy name is that? I was a kid.
Sounds very deep.
It wasn't. It was just me being an idiot.
Okay. So, and that's what I mean, perspective when it comes to the music too. Like during the time that you were making music and finding your way, so different from now. So can you kind of walk us through?
Yeah, I mean, I had the luxury of obviously having a collective. Mm-hmm. A lot of guys that had put in the work, did the 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
Mastered the craft, whether it's Cole or, Ron Gilmore, mm-hmm. A lot of the initial Dreamville team. Even now to this day, like I just lean on guys that I think just have a wealth of knowledge and I can learn from.
Right.
And then I made a lot of my bones on tour, which is different, which is why I think a lot of artists have it misconstrued nowadays. They think, certain metrics equate to
people showing up and knowing the words.
Yeah, but that's not the case. I saw firsthand. You got to go to the market. You got to do the 500 cap. You got to do the 1,000 cap. Mm-hmm. You got to do the theater. Then hopefully you go on. You do the amphitheater, arena, right. et cetera, et cetera. But you have to build that brand completely separate of like your social media or streaming or whatever. I think that's lost on a lot of people, but that's just the way I was brought in. Obviously, Cole brought me out on tour. Mm-hmm. So that's how I got to meet a lot of the fans. I used to go out to the merch stand after every show.
Yeah.
Take pictures, Mm-hmm. I still get tagged in those pictures to this day. Like, 2013, I'm at Bas, and it's like, a lot of memories you get to build with people. That's what creates those fans, They're going to come to the show, that are going to support you, buy your merch, all of those things that makes them like core fans, You got to put in the work.
Yeah, and it's absolutely ass backwards these days. And I don't think that it's completely the artist's fault either. Because who's to say, like, they don't know that they're going to blow up on TikTok or whatever the situation is. But I think the standard for fans too, and just, internet people who just be chatting, when they see that it's maybe 200 people at the festival in the beginning, because shows start early, they're just like, oh, nobody was there. Right. Wow, so-and-so performed. Right, and it's like, these are the steps that you have to go through.
Yeah, you got to rock that crowd of 200 like it's 20,000.
Right.
And they're going to go home. They're going to tell their friends about it. They're going to go to school. They're going to put, all their friends on. And the next time you come to those markets, you're going to see that, if you did what you're supposed to do, you're going to see that base grow.
Right. When did it become real for you and your family? When were they like, oh, okay, Bossy got something. This is like a real thing.
We did. It was the Born Center tour.
Okay.
and we played the theater at Madison Square Garden. And I remember that's when we like announced Dreamville. So we went out, all of us, we put like flyers in every seat. Maddie, you were there for that. Did we put the CD or was it just a flyer? It was Revenge of Dreamers 2 or 1? Revenge of Dreamers 1.
Okay.
And a flyer to announce Dreamville. And then at the thing we announced my mixtape. And literally it was me, Eve, I think Cole was with us. Maddie was, we walked around the whole theater and we like put him in every seat. And
that's that legwork right there. Those things matter.
It's the little things for sure. And to this day, that's the only show my dad's ever come to. My dad's like a jazz guy. He's older, obviously. Yeah. And he's not with the rah-rah, you know. But he came to that show, and then, you know, my pop's always been supportive, but like any parent, and especially, an immigrant from Sudan,
right?
You come to America, you want your kids doing something that's gonna guarantee,
funds.
Yeah,
lawyer,
yeah, exactly, doctor, lawyer.
My family's still asking me, you don't want to go back to school,
right?
No,
right. So that was after that show, he came up to my manager Derek, and he was like, "Hey, I'm glad he listened to you guys. He didn't listen to me," and he just walked out. And I was like, "Oh, that's all I needed." So I always remember that moment as like, a validation of all the work we had put in up to that point.
Absolutely. Now, was that your moment for yourself too? Or when did it become real for you, when you're like, wow, this is really my life. I'm good at this. And other people have acknowledged it.
Yeah. I don't know if that ever ends.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like a continuous, every time I go on stage, it's a wild thing, Do
you still get nervous?
No, I never got nervous.
Ever?
Never got nervous.
That was kind of your way to just show out?
Yeah, I don't know. I always felt comfortable on stage. It just felt to me. I've always been, maybe because I party, I throw parties.
Right.
I'm used to me and the homies mobbing and singing records at the top of our lungs. Yeah, so it's like being on stage didn't feel much different,
Right.
Just kind of felt like being in the center of the section.
Yeah.
And then everybody's singing along except it's your shit.
Right. Were you the kid at prep who was rapping to the grinding beat in the lunchroom?
Nah, I wasn't. My homies were.
Really?
My homies were, yeah. Shout out my boy Billy Bang from Left Rack.
Okay.
My boy Beyond Belief, Bobby J from Rockaway. They were definitely like the two dopest rappers in my high school. They still dope as hell. They're good friends of mine.
Are they still rapping?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I wasn't rapping at prep. I was just throwing parties and sneaking bottles into the school. I was an idiot.
God, no.
Yeah, we were doing a lot. We were doing all the wrong shit.
Oh my God. A lot of y'all were.
Yeah.
I feel like prep was notorious for that.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, we kind of had that rep. I think it was just such a diverse like group, We were going to school and like all these Italian kids and Irish kids, and I think they were kind of really teaching us how to turn up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No Italian.
In the woods and wild shit like that.
Absolutely. I know how that goes. I've heard a lot.
Yeah. It's a good time, man. I don't know how it is now. I heard we're good at basketball finally, though.
Wow.
I'll take that.
Congratulations,
champs, you heard?
Okay.
Go Terriers.
Come on.
Or at least a year or two ago. I don't know. How we looking now, Maddie? Yeah. All right. We'll take it.
How do you think Queens and just your upbringing impacted the music that you make? Because I feel like your style also is its own.
Yeah.
So where do you think your influences came from, and how did the city influence you, or what influenced you?
Yeah, I think Queens is kind of the bow that ties it all together. Being the world's borough, most diverse county in the world statistically. I grew up with a very international upbringing. I was born in Paris to Sudanese parents. Then moved to New York. I was around 7, 8 years old. Spent some years in the Middle East. I've been traveling my whole life before music.
Right.
And also having 4 older siblings who spent even more time overseas than I did. And obviously all of their musical influence were being passed down to me. My parents' musical influences. My brother Moma is probably the foremost like influential person as far as shifting and shaping my ear growing up.
Wow.
You know, whenever he'd buy a vinyl, he'd come grab me out the room, come listen to this, you know.
Hold on. You and Momo are real life brothers?
Yeah, it's my blood.
No way.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Am I like late?
Nah, I don't know. I mean,
Do people know this?
I think they do.
Wow. I had no
I think
clue.
a lot of people do, yeah.
And Momo is a beast when it comes
Yeah.
to everything music.
Yeah, for sure. He's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to music, you know. So my whole life he's been, first he was collecting CDs, then he was collecting vinyls, and you know he'd always come grab me, whether it's like come listen to this Daft Punk record, or come listen to this Digital Underground record, or you know come listen to these Afrobeat records,
Right.
whatever the case may be. Moma's always constantly been involving my ear.
So were you on the Afrobeat wave before the rest of the world done caught on?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's due to Moma. I'm not even gonna act like I was, I was on guard with it. Yeah. But obviously Moma, his ear's always been tuned to the continent. And then me and him will go. We pretty much spend every December in Africa.
Oh wow.
For like past 7 years, we've been doing that, barring like the 2 COVID Decembers when couldn't really go nowhere.
Okay.
We spent last New Year's in Ghana. We go to South Africa together all the time.
Okay.
We did Kenya, Ethiopia, obviously our native Sudan. I think this year we're doing Everyday People in Lagos, and Ghana, we back out in Ghana again. So, we spend a lot of time on the continent.
Right.
And have a large network there. So it's always guys sending me music, putting me on the new stuff.
Yeah.
Just try to keep my ear open.
Of course, and you hear it in the music. Now, this is about to be your 4th studio album, right?
Yeah.
Now, we have Last Winter.
Yep.
Too High to Riot.
Yep.
Milky Way.
Yep.
And now...
We only talk about real shit when we're fucked up.
Is that true?
Yeah, I think
for you?
Is
that true for men in general? I always wonder what y'all be talking about when you with your friends. Is it just video games, or do y'all talk about real shit the way that women do?
See, I think women have the ability to be more honest and forthcoming.
Yeah.
Than we do.
I think so too.
I think, which is why the album is named that. I found, at least with my circle of friends, and the concept kind of started during lockdown because we really had nothing to do. So we'd go to each other's cribs, get drunk. You know what I mean? We're fucked up. And then, you start to hear things, whether, it's stresses people have, significant others, financial stresses, just, everyone's career was kind of stagnant at the time. All these things people are going through, all these insecurities, my friends were sharing.
Was this the first time your group of friends was getting that deep with each other?
And that's what kind of blew me away. I was like, yeah, I've known you 20 years. Like, never heard any of these things. We've never had no conversation.
What would you be talking about?
Well, like
surface
the Jets depth chart. You know what I mean?
Right.
Who's starting for the Yankees? Who's pitching? You know what I mean? Who are the next free agent acquisitions? Like, same shit all guys talk about. Right. We didn't really touch on those things until we were stripped of the inhibitions, which alcohol tends to do.
Yeah.
And so it kind of just sparked an idea of, the stories I wanted to tell, the message I wanted to share. I thought it was, there's powerful moments in that to just be vulnerable and share those ideas, share those thoughts. So every song is kind of born of that concept.
Right. What is something that you discovered about yourself during one of those conversations? Because, opening up and getting vulnerable with your people, that's a different kind of love. That's why women, for the women that I know and the friendships that I've built, like, our life could feel like it's about to be over, but once we get together, it's like we have a reason now. And we leave just feeling so uplifted, and we carry that with us in every room that we go and afterwards, and it's just like a revolving effect, and it feels so good.
It does feel good. It does feel really good. I think for me, obviously, there were people were dealing with everything when the world shut down.
Right.
You know what I mean? And for me, I was somebody who was providing. I still provide for a lot of people. Obviously, I'm in a blessed situation to do what I do. But when everything stops, everything gets stagnant. Those things started to pile up. and those thoughts aren't the brightest, you know what I mean, and the stresses of that, and they compound, and then you just talk to your homies about it, and then you realize it's not the end of the world. Like, your support system, your support group, your relationships, all those things are worth more than what you can provide, financially.
Yeah.
And learning to lean on your network, lean on your friends. Some of my friends were going through way worse things than I was.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was sharing those things, but it was always like 3 a.m. It wasn't like we weren't having a lunch convo, like, oh no, it was just like pounding the liquor and then being like, well, actually,
Right.
shit is not that sweet.
It took time.
It takes time. Yeah, it takes time. I still wish we can get there without that. I imagine, I don't know. I'm sure there's groups out there that do groups. I don't, but I've noticed with women, it's a lot easier.
It is.
Yeah. Maybe it's how we've been conditioned.
I think so too.
And raised, right?
Yeah. Men don't typically, they're conditioned not to share their feelings or not to cry and not to be vulnerable. And I think it's so terrible.
Yeah.
So
I had one of my best friends actually like cry, and I was like, what the
It's like you almost don't even know what to do.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do. I'm like,
what did you do?
Huh? You just go with the hand on the shoulder. That's as far as it gets for guys, So you're going to be all right, my boy.
Right.
A little shoulder squeeze,
And what about you? When's the last time you shed a tear?
Damn, it's a good question.
I was crying the other day if it makes you feel better. But I'm good now.
Yeah, I mean, when I lost my aunt.
You guys were really close?
Like something drastic. I'm a very even-keeled person. I'll be honest. You know what I mean? For better or worse.
Right.
Sometimes I get from people around me that want more emotion out of me.
Right.
This is just how I am naturally. I just stay here.
Could be the Gemini in you as well.
Can't figure it out. If you're always here,
exactly.
How are they gonna know?
Exactly. They gotta listen to the music.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what it is too.
That's where you store your feelings.
Yeah, I can speak on it so much easier on the record than I can to someone else.
Right. Now, you and Cole, you guys have such a great chemistry on these records. I feel like you and Wale might be the only two motherfuckers who could get him to like go crazy on something like Passport Road. Yeah, and like really enjoy the party scene and talk his shit.
Yep.
In that way. You had asked your fans what some of their favorite J. Cole collabs were with you, of course, and mine, I would have to say, is Lit.
Yeah.
Love, Lit.
Classic.
My nigga just made Bell.
Yeah.
That right there. And Passport Bros is becoming a new favorite of mine.
I love to hear that.
It is, because it's so different. Exactly. And you're taking us back to our roots, too.
Yeah.
With the production. Can we talk about that?
Sure.
Who produced it?
My boy Diesel and Aziz and the homie Luca.
Okay.
They pretty much become our in-house guys. Diesel's from Toronto. He's kind of from the camp of T- and them. Obviously, T- is a big collaborator of ours. And then Aziz does a lot of Bia's records.
Okay.
He's from Massachusetts, came up with that whole crew.
Nice.
And they're all family. Bruno, O, Bia, Aziz, all those guys are family to us, So we were all down in Miami. They were like a month and a half ago. Just working, cooking. We're going to the finals. And I had finished actually doing the intro to the album, and I was like so relieved because I had been searching for this intro that was like, got off everything I wanted to say, and I did it, and we should start drinking shots, like kind of celebrate.
Of Class A.
Yeah. Hella Class A shots. And then Diesel was like, yo, I got this beat, like, and I'm like, well, we got to go to the game in like 40 minutes. He's like, yeah, I just want to play you it. And, we keep one of these hot in the studio.
All the time?
All the time.
Is there a camera rolling too?
No.
Okay.
I'll go, our recording engineer, Kuldeep, Cole's recording engineer, he has a camera that he'll pick up every now and then. But we keep one of these hot just for random inspiration, because I think the first time you hear a beat and your first ideas, to me, are usually your best ideas, So I don't even I don't really like listening to something unless I'm ready to like execute on it, you know?
Right.
So that kind of solves that, where you can just kind of pick up the mic, get your first ideas out, whether it's a rhythm or a melody or a bar, you know? And I remember just picking up and being like, Casa Azul, and me and Diesel looked at each other and just started laughing. And Diesel's was a Captain Morgan guy, which is why, you know, we have that bar in there about pour him up some Captain Morgan. But the song honestly happened in like 30 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, because we had to go to the game.
Oh, yeah, you did say that.
So now when Cole had to go, Cole and Eve didn't make that session, they had to go link with some people. It was like some NBA related stuff. You know, Cole's like a part owner now and shit. So
crazy
handling that. Yeah, shout out to bro. But, you know, we have those moments where something special happens in the studio and you're like, I can't wait to play it for the homies, right? Can't wait to play it for the homies so far.
Right.
And we go out, we go to the game. I drink way too much. We go to the club. At this point, I'm just hanging on. So I'm like, I want to get in the Sprinter van. Like, I want to play the song. Like, I just want that response, right? And then I just like, couldn't do it, right? I'm like, I'm going back to the hotel. These niggas are still partying. I crash out. And then the next day, like, I'll wake up to the group chat, like, going crazy because Diesel played the song for them. Like,
without you?
Without me, I know. I was hurt. He hit me too, and I was just like, fuck it, go ahead. But then, like, the next day, Cole was like, nah, I got to get on this. Because it was such a celebration of that whole month. You know, we had gone to Barcelona for Team Ice's bachelor party.
Nice.
We had gone to London for Ari Lennox's show. He came out and surprised her.
Okay. Oh, yes, I remember that.
Yeah. So all of that kind of culminated in us being in Miami off of like this 4-week Azul bender.
Right.
And
was that all you were drinking while you were traveling?
The whole time. So Cole, he's back outside. The guy's out of retirement. I don't know what sparked it. He came to London and we went to Tape Mayfair, which he shouts out on his verse. It's this club in Mayfair in London, and me and Eve were getting some shots of Azul, and he's like, yo, like, what are y'all drinking? So like, what are we, like, why, you know, why do you care? Like,
wait, water for you.
Yeah, like, you haven't had a drink with us in some years, and he was just like, pour me up one. So like, all right, shit. So obviously, like, you know, we went top shelf for the boy.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Trying to bring him back right. And he was like, yo, that was smooth. Like, I like it. And the next day he's like, yo, I'm like, I don't feel sick or nothing. Yeah, because we're just drinking it when there's no chasers, no, you know, we're just ripping shots. Yeah, exactly. You know, no sugar. That's gonna have you sick. And then, you know, went to Barcelona and it was just, you know, bachelor party mode, nonstop.
Oh God.
And by the time we got to Miami, you know, and I did the song, then his verse, he's kind of telling you the story of the past month, you know. And that's what I love most about it. I've never done a song that went from like the inspiration behind it to the creation of it to the release of it in that quick of a span. You know, it was like 6 weeks. It was like we just felt it. We wanted it out. Nobody overthought it. It was like, yo, this feels good. It feels like right now. It feels like how we're living.
You can tell.
Yeah. I like to capture those moments. A song like that, you know, you sit on it for 2 years, like, you're not going to feel the same about it.
Right, and it doesn't hit the same.
It doesn't hit the same. None of those, you know, and then you never share that moment with the world. You never share that moment with your fan base. You never share that side, you know. And obviously, you know, like, you know, my album title and concept, there's so many of those conceptual type records on there. There's only one of these, you know, because it happened in the moment. It happened super in the moment, and, like, you know, we shared it.
Yeah. How important is it for you to live in the present now? Like, is that something that you've always done, or is it something that you're noticing now that you have to do because it's just better for your mental health?
I think I've always been pretty good at that. Obviously, ever since, you know, our careers have started and, you know, the past really decade of being like a touring artist,
right?
You don't find much time to think too far ahead or too far back, you know, and that's probably for the best.
And you live a lot of life in between too.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's a blessed life. Like, I really I have no complaints. We get to do what we love. You got to keep it all in perspective, you know?
Right.
Nothing is perfect. Everybody has, you know, their ups and downs, but I think you just got to keep it all in perspective, stay in the moment, you know, lean on those around you. And, you know, it's how I get through.
Okay. Yeah, that's how, I mean, hey, we only got one life to live, right? And we got to make the best of it and feel everything, even if it's not the best. Kind of go through the emotion.
No, absolutely. And that's, you know, as an artist, that's what expands, you know, your creativity and your craft. Feeling everything is a great way to put it. And trying to feel what other people are feeling.
Yeah.
You know,
empathize with that.
Exactly. And try to be relatable. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing we can do with our music, you know, is to be relatable, to give someone that out, you know. Those are like my favorite interactions with fans. When they'll come up and be like, yo, I had this bar tattooed on me because it got me through like XYZ. Or like, you know what I mean? My favorite song of yours is this because, you know, I went through the same emotions. I lost someone dear to me, or, you know, a lot of things we express in our music, the way they resonate and come back from the fan base is like, that's the highest level, you know, that you get out of this.
Yeah. Now on the album, are you giving us a variety of perspectives? I know, you know, can't say much, but what energy can we expect from it?
Because
we have Passport Bros.
Yeah.
To turn up to and have fun with.
That is the turn up, have fun, right? That's like, you know, it's 1:30, 2 a.m.
Right.
You know?
And I feel like it describes the summer that a lot of people are having.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. That's the vibe, you know? I think a lot of it is very much from my perspective. I don't think I've ever been the best at writing from another perspective.
Right.
You know, that's something others do that I really respect, that I've noticed. You know what I mean? It's very much like a first person account, you know, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things on there that I've never told anybody, things I've never really, you know, admitted.
I mean, yeah, those are the conversations.
Those are exactly. I tried to be very, very honest and true to the concept, you know, and just try to elevate, you know. I haven't put out a full-length solo album in 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm a different person. I've gone through a lot of things. The people around me are constantly going through things. So I feel like it would be a disservice to my fans, you know, if I didn't try to convey all those things.
Right. Did you feel a sense of freedom? Is the project done?
Yeah.
Did you feel a sense of freedom after the last joint where you're kind of just like, yeah, I got it?
Yeah. You know, I had a sense of freedom from jump.
Yeah?
But like the first time in my career.
Tell me about that.
I love the music so much, and I love the message, and I love the writing, that like, I hate to say I don't give a fuck how people are going to react.
Right.
But I'm free of that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm free of like the metrics.
Whoa. That's great.
Obviously, I wanted to perform well. You know, that's a no-brainer. I put a lot of time and effort and, you know, everything into it.
But that's not the main thing. Has that ever been the main thing for you? Because I feel like it hasn't.
No, it never has. It never has, no. But, you know, I'm still, you know, an artist at my tier where, you know, you want more. Yeah. You want to grow. You want to play the bigger venue. You know, you want the bigger bags.
Yeah.
You want the bigger festival bags. You want the best festival slot in time. And we all want the same things, you know, essentially. But it's freeing to create from a spot and to create something that like makes you disregard all those things.
Yeah.
And just say, yo, whatever the outcome is, I feel so good and so fulfilled in what I created that like I couldn't care less, you know.
Absolutely. And I think that's when we create our best work.
I agree.
I really think so. What's the feedback from your people? What's Maddie saying about it?
Maddie, no. Me and Maddie is one of the chief inspirations.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we don't put him on
combos.
Okay.
Yeah, some phone calls. Maddie was living with me in LA for some time too, and we used to call it Maddie's Lounge. His room had like the sliding door that opened up into our backyard. And you could find him sitting back there with his Black and Mild at like 3 a.m.
Black and Mild, you was going through it, Maddie.
When you see Maddie back there singing a Black, you got to go have that convo with him.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely one of the chief inspirations behind it. Combos me and him have had, so I'm sure it resonated with him for sure.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait to see how the fans react, because I feel like your crew, the people who support you, it's like die hard.
Yeah.
Because you're speaking to their souls.
Right.
Because it's coming from you personally.
Right.
Like you never try to bring us down another lane that's not you.
Right. Yeah, no, they were definitely, first and foremost in my mind was, writing for them and just explaining the maturation in myself in the past 5 years, where I've been, what I've been doing, what I've been going through, the stresses, the ups and downs. I feel like you owe it to them, because I know when I tour and I go to the show, I already know the songs that they're gonna come up to me and say like, yo, like, got me through some shit.
Right. Almost like you're a therapist to them. You're putting your therapy session out there, which is allowing them to resonate with it.
For sure. Yeah, I guess I'm a therapist to myself.
Right.
And
are you in therapy?
No, I never have. I'm not like, opposed, but I never have been. But I hear from all my friends that it's
yes, I'm a huge advocate. I think you need it. Yeah, everyone needs it. All Black folks need it.
A couple of my close friends have spoken highly of it. I'm sure I could use it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's only going to allow you to see yourself deeper and in a new light. It's really more so self-discovery.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to give us just as much more content and music.
You might have
another level.
A therapist.
Yeah. Maddie is not the therapist.
Maddie. And then and Dr. Don Julio.
Class A.
Yeah.
There we go.
Class A.
No, we're not doing that kind of Colombian therapy that y'all about to do in
Cartagena.
But a bachelor party.
Send my boy off right.
Right. Well, you know what? This was the first of your therapy sessions. Unpack That with Miabelle. I hope to do it again when the album drops. And this was great.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, Bob.
Anytime.
Yeah. We did it. Also, disclaimer, I do have to show you a photo that we took back in 2015, because when you said that about your fans, I was like, I still got mine. I used to work for this streetwear company called Entree Lifestyle. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yes, I was on the marketing team, and my marketing director, Reggie, had brought you in, and I was so excited. And
I think that Housewives video, y'all brought me some gear.
Probably.
And I think I wore it in the video.
Yeah.
I recall it was like a long sleeve black. Yeah.
Yeah, that is what our team did. A lot of product placement.
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember when Bas came into he came to the office, and, we had our meeting. I was sitting in the meeting taking my notes. I worked on the marketing team. And after I took the picture, I was like, I already know what my caption going to be. And you were like, really? And I was like, yeah, shit premium.
Yeah.
Let me show you.
Oh,
and you had misunderstood.
That's so hard.
Yeah. So when you said that about your fans, I'm like, I'm one of them.
That's crazy.
I still have the picture.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You should recreate that.
Of course we are. That's why I'm my photographer here. Don't play.
Yeah.
I love it.
I like that. That's
true
fire.
fandom.
You're in the right place. It's Unpacked That with Miabelle.